before we begin, think about this. What hurts more? Losing money or losing someone who truly loved you? Take a moment and think about it, because some people have everything in life: money, power, respect, but still, they lose the one thing that truly matters: love. This is a powerful emotional story about a poor girl who gave her whole heart and a rich man who didn't understand her value until it was too late. If you enjoy emotional stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us till the end. Now, let's begin. In a small, quiet village, far away from the noise and stress of the city, life was simple, but it was also very hard. There lived a young girl named Zara. Zara was poor, very poor. She had no parents, no family, no one to help her. She lived alone, in a small broken hut. A hut that could barely protect her from rain or cold at night. When the wind blew strongly, the walls would shake, the roof would leak, and Zara would lie on the floor, cold, hungry, and afraid. Sometimes she could not sleep at all. She would just stare into the darkness, thinking, wondering, hoping that maybe one day her life would change. Every morning, before the sun even rose, Zara would wake up, not because she wanted to, but because she had no choice. She had to survive. She would step outside, barefoot, walking slowly on the dusty road, looking for any small work she could find. Sometimes she washed clothes. Sometimes she cleaned people's houses. Sometimes she carried heavy buckets of water. Her body was always tired. Her hands became rough. Her feet hurt from walking long distances. But even with all this pain, Zara still had a kind heart. Even when people shouted at her, she stayed quiet. Even when they refused to pay her, she still said thank you, because deep inside her, she believed something. She believed that one day, life would be kind to her. That one day, someone would see her, not as a poor girl, but as a human being. One afternoon, by the river, Zara sat quietly, washing clothes slowly. The water moved gently. The sun was hot, but she continued working, because stopping meant no food. As she worked, she looked at her reflection in the water, and for a moment, she asked herself, will my life always be like this? But quickly, she shook her head and whispered softly, no, something will change. Far away in the city, there lived a man named Daniel. Daniel was everything Zara was not. He was rich, powerful, respected, a billionaire. He had luxury cars, big houses, expensive clothes, everything money could buy. But inside, Daniel was empty, very empty. He did not believe in love. To him, love was a weakness, something only poor people needed. He trusted only money, only power, only control. One day, Daniel traveled to a rural village for a business deal. He was not interested in the people. He was not interested in the culture. He only came for profit. As his luxury car entered the village, dust rose into the air. Children ran after the car, laughing, shouting, Everything felt different. Slow, quiet, simple. Daniel stepped out of the car, looking around with a serious face. To him, this place meant nothing. But then, something unexpected happened. He saw her, Zara, by the river, washing clothes. Her clothes were old. Her hands were rough. Her face was calm. Different. Daniel stopped walking. He kept looking, trying to understand. How can someone live like this and still look so peaceful? Daniel walked closer. Zara noticed him and quickly stood up. She looked a little nervous. "Good afternoon, sir," she said softly. Daniel looked at her for a moment, then asked a question. "Why are you smiling when your life is so hard?" Zara paused. She looked down for a moment. Then slowly, she smiled again. A soft, gentle smile. And she sighed, "Because being alive is still a blessing." Daniel was silent. He did not expect that answer. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. But instead of understanding her, a different thought entered his mind. A cold thought. I can use her. The next day, Daniel returned. Not because he cared, but because he had already made up his mind. He walked straight to the river, and there she was, Zara, washing clothes again, just like before. Tired, but calm. When she saw him, her face lit up slightly. Not because she expected anything, but because kindness, even small kindness, meant everything to her. Daniel brought food and handed it to her. Zara looked at it, surprised. No one had ever done something like that for her. She held it carefully, like it was something precious. "Thank you," she said softly. That simple moment, that small act, meant more to her than anything. They sat together by the river, talking. Zara spoke honestly about her life, her struggles, her dreams, and Daniel listened, but not with his heart, only with his mind, watching her, studying her, understanding how innocent she was. And slowly, Zara began to feel something new, something she had never felt before. Warmth, connection, happy, day after day. Daniel kept coming back, each time with a smile, each time with kind words, each time pretending. Zara started waiting for him every single day. Before he arrived, she would sit quietly, looking down the road, hoping to see him. And when he finally appeared, her face would light up, like someone who had found happiness. For the first time in her life, she felt seen. She felt important. She felt loved, even though it was not real. Daniel noticed everything. Her smiles, her trust, her laugh, and this too continued, because to him, it was just a game. To Zara, it was everything. She gave her heart completely, without fear, without doubt, without knowing that one day it would all be taken away. One evening, As the sun slowly disappeared, the sky turning orange, Daniel looked at Zara and spoke softly. I will take you away from this place. I will give you a better life. Zara froze for a moment. Her eyes filled with tears. Not tears of pain, but tears of hope. No one had ever said something like that to her. No one had ever promised her a better life. Her heart beat faster. She believed him. Every word, every promise. She saw a future, a life without suffering, a life without loneliness, a life with him. She smiled through her tears and nodded slowly, not knowing that those promises were not real, that those words would soon become her greatest pain. Then one day, without warning, Daniel left. No goodbye, no explanation, no message, nothing. Zara waited. Morning came. He didn't show up. Evening came. Still nothing. Night came. Silence. The next day, she waited again. And again. And again. Days turned into weeks. The road stayed empty. Her heart began to break. Slowly, painfully, she stopped eating properly. She became weak. Her body could barely carry her. Still, she refused to give up. He will come back, she whispered. Even when everything inside her was breaking, she still believed. She sat by the road, looking into the distance, hoping, praying, waiting. But he never came. Back in the city, Daniel tried to continue his normal life. Business meetings, luxury lifestyle, everything as before. But something was wrong. Something inside him had changed. He could not sleep. He could not focus. Her voice, her smile, her kindness kept coming back to him, again and again. Then one night, he sat alone, in silence, and finally understood. She loved me, for real, not because of money, not because of power, but because of who I was. And I destroyed it. Suddenly, he stood up and rushed back to the village, his heart filled with fear, regret. But when he arrived, everything felt different. Quiet, heavy. He asked about Zara, and then someone said, "She waited for you until she couldn't anymore. She is gone." In that moment, Daniel's world stopped. He fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. For the first time in his life, he felt real pain. Not the pain of losing money, but the pain of losing someone who truly loved him. I had everything, but I lost the only person who truly loved me. Some people come into your life, not for money, for love. And when you lose them, no amount of money can ever bring them back. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.